Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Before we get started, I need to let you know that Bella and Donna are like right here and they're playing. They're roughhousing. Um, so I just wanted to let you know that. What are we doing today? We are going to talk about borderless patches. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I went to a trade show, and there's all kinds of vendors. Actually, I think this was either Applique Getaway or Everything Embroidery Market. Um, and there was a table that was selling patches. They had hundreds of them on the tables, and you could buy the patch you want. But here's the thing about these patches: they had no borders. When we typically make a patch, we have a background of fabric or we fill it with stitches, and then we have the design in the center, and then we put a satin border around it or a faux merrow around it. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Diane. Yay, good morning. So yeah, typically a patch we make with a border of some sort. These patches had no borders. Letty made it. Letty, good morning. Letty, you might like this one. Oh, we're talking about borderless patches. So I bought a couple. Oh, Ron is here too. Good morning. Gosh, we've got a busy place going today. So from that table, because I was fascinated by this, how did they do this? So I bought a couple so that I could dissect them and see how it was done. Well, the first thing I noticed, um, the patch was completely thread filled. There was no exposed backing. It was completely thread filled. Whether with the design, the color breaks in the design. Um, okay, and the background fabric was not your typical twill canvas patch fabric. No, no, it wasn't. So, what was it? It was this stuff. You see how firm that is? My friend Cindy King sent me some of this, and I know I'm terrible. This project started, what, a year, 2 years ago, and I'm just now getting to the actual patch part of what I wanted to try to accomplish. But what is this stuff? Here, let me bring this up, bring this up, bring this up. That's not what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you. This is the place that Cindy gets this. This. It is, let me see if I can find it for you. Backings, thread, Velcro hook, more supplies, material, belts, and twills. Good morning, Doug. Good morning. It's called Scrim Felt. I don't think I can get this any larger. Scrim Felt. It's very firm. It has what looks like a felt on one side and a little more woven on the other side. And you can see it comes in a nice assortment of colors. And the price isn't too bad. Um, it's $11.50 a yard, but it's a 60-inch wide fabric. So that's a lot of patches, trust me. But this is it. No border needed. So I'm going to talk to you today about how I did this. Well, let me get rid of this. First thing we needed was a design file. What are we going to make our patch out of? Now, This is a copyrighted piece. I got it years ago, made some things for a nephew, never sold anything. So this image is not for sale. It is an example of something that is fully designed, full of stitches. So this is what I use to make my patches. Good morning, Barb. Barb is here. Good morning, Barb. Good morning, Barb. Okay, so this is the design file I used. It is stitched quick. It's 3 inches. It is 3 inches tall. I stitched out several of them on this. No stabilizer. This stuff is stiff enough. I didn't need any stabilizer. None whatsoever. Okay, so excuse me a moment. Diane wants to know if this is like regular felt that won't ravel. It is a woven product, but as you can see, all my cut edges, I'm raking down them. There's no exposed thread. It was not raveling at all. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, no raveling, which is good, right? That's why we like felt. Um, Felt is so forgiving. And of course, my phone's going crazy over here, so I'm going to take a moment just to turn it down. Yeah, turn it down, put it away. Okay, so I stitched out several of these. And just like my description said, I wanted, even though my primary cut out of these patches is going to be with the laser, not everybody has a laser. Um, but most people do have a die cutting machine, a Cricut, Silhouette, Juliet. I personally work with a Juliet. And so what I did, let me get some picture up here. Where to go? Do, do, do. So I brought it into, I guess I should back up a little bit, huh? Do I have that here? No, I do not. Okay, so once I finish the embroidery work, I put this on a scanner, on a flatbed scanner with measuring tape. Ultimately, I don't think the measuring tape did me any good. So, but it's habit. I always, doing, when I'm using the flatbed scanner for a project, I always put a measuring tape on there just to have a gauge as to what the size is, what the 100% size is. Because when you open up uh, a scanned image, it doesn't always show at 100%. So, anyways, oh, but I know why I did that. I needed the scan image so that I could bring the PNG file into my cutware software. All right, in this case, it's Leonardo, but there's Cricut, Design Space, and Silhouette Studio. Gosh, it's been a while since I've used those. So, anyways, I brought it in, told the software that I wanted to do a print and cut. Set up my parameters. You all know how to do it for your own machine. Sent it over to the machine. It asked me to make a print, remember? And I did it for layout purposes. Oh, good thing. Thanks, Barb. Scan and cut works great for these types of projects because you can scan the actual patch on the mat. So you get to skip the whole scanner. if you're using a scan and cut because it has a built-in scanner. That's wonderful. Okay, so brought my image in, made sure it was the size I needed, and I printed it because I need these markers for the cut portion. So I printed it, and then I laid my felt on top of uh, where the print was and proceeded to cut. Um, yes, Letty, exactly that reason. Using a quilt ruler to get the grid measurements. Good idea. Um, when you're doing your scan work. Okay, so I cut this out. Okay, I was having some difficulty. Um, I couldn't get it lined up. I could not get my patch to lay on the paper exactly where I needed it. I needed some sort of jig. So I made one. My first thought, I took a scrap piece of the felt, the scrim felt, and I cut it out. Here. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you what my settings were for this. So I cut it out. I used a bit of tape on the top to make a hinge so I could lay the patch underneath it, and brought the hinge down so that I could lay it in its proper location. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. So I could lay it in its proper location and then make the cut. Oh yeah, this was the first attempt. Do you see this raggedness right here? Can you see all that? That's because it cut into my embroidery. See, here's some more. That's because I didn't have it lined up. So that's the one that did not align well. That was the before the hinge. All right. Here we go. This is the hinge piece. You see how that hinge is cut out and it's laid right across the paper print. And then I'm going to take my stitch and lay it under the hinge. Let's see if I've got that. All right, so it's laid under the hinge. Probably have moved it over just a little bit more. Do, do, do. I taped it into place because the last thing you want is for this stuff to slip slide away. And then I cut it. And I have to say, let me come back to you full screen. Nice jig. Thank you. Thank you, Barb. It was a nice jig because this is what I got. I made a patch. Of course, I still need to put an adhesive backing on it, but I made a die cut borderless patch. You see that? Yep, a borderless patch. Okay, so for those of you that are interested in the settings that I used, and of course it might be just a start place for your settings on your particular machine. I did use a 60-degree blade. I needed the 60-degree blade. The 45 was not deep enough, did not make a deep enough cut. My speed was slow. It was relatively slow. It was at a 5. but the pressure, the force, and that's the downward force that the blade head is going to assert to cut through, was at 100. All right. So it's just a start place. Just keep in mind that you need your 60-degree blade. You need to move relatively slow, and you need a relatively high force, cutting force. All right. Die cut. Still not overly happy with the finished product of this because what you can't see is, like I said, I probably could have moved that over a little bit more, but that's okay. Remember, my goal was not necessarily to use the die cutting machine to create borderless patches. Mine was to use the laser. But for those of you that are interested, this is a good start. Of course, you'll tweak it out for yourselves. Now, let me get that other picture. This is on the laser bed. Yeah. And I use the white. I use the white, especially on the laser. I use the white when I'm doing my test work because, I've had 100 people tell me you can't use white, you can't cut white with a diode laser. And, yes, you can. All right. Mm. So, in this case, this is my laser bed. I'm actually taking this picture through the top. Um, just to give you a bit of history, this is an X-Tool S1 laser with an aftermarket camera kit, calibrated and set up using light burn. Okay, so with light burn, you can do a trace function, and you can set it up to trace all three, or just the one. And that's exactly what I did. I traced one at a time. So I traced the first one, cut it out. Yeah, I was just a little bit off, just a hair off. So I needed to do some alignment work. Trace the next one, still just a little bit off. Um, just between you and I, do your alignment work on scrap and off to the sides. Don't waste your stitch outs. Which is because just for my own lessons, yeah, I'm a little slow sometimes. Um, here are the alignments. The first one, obviously, I needed two of them because the first one I used to make the adjustments, and the second one was done to prove out that my settings were now good. Retraced my third piece, cut it out. Like I said, I'll have settings for you. Do, do, do. I could have swore I had more pictures. I'm terrible. All right. Okay. So I cut it out, and I have to tell you, I'm very, very happy. Very happy because it cut perfectly. I need something dark. Does this help? Can you see the border on my borderless patch? That is a half millimeter offset. That cut all the way around. I am so happy Thank you, Barb. You know, I find it helps when for somebody to understand by using some visuals. Oh, Letty has a suggestion here. Do a reverse print on the copier, iron on scrap to get a template, test on that for the alignment. Thank you. That is an awesome idea. Thank you. Barb, if you're asking, Barb wants to know if I used a regular blade or a rotary blade. If you're asking about the blade I used on my Juliet to cut out to die cut burr sample, it was just a regular straight 60-degree blade. Yeah, that was just a regular straight 60-degree blade. Now, how many of you want to know the settings I used to cut this out, to cut scrim felt on my 40-watt S1 X-Tool S1 laser cutter? What else do I want to say about this? Do you want to know? Here we go. I find I get a cleaner cut on white if I use multiple passes. So one of the things I did to try to determine what my settings should start out at, I used a material test. A material test. Virtually all of these laser cutting softwares have a material test. Lightburn does too. It's found underneath Laser Tools, material test. And I found it told me I had a really good cut when I used a 100%, 100%. Good morning. Cindy wanted to pop in and say hi. She's doing family this weekend. Replay will be here. Cindy, everybody says thank you for the scrim felt, for the hookup. You go have a great time with the family. Um, so it said to use a speed of 60 with a 100%. The best cut I had on the test was 100% power, speed of 60, and the 40 watts. All right. I feel I get a cleaner cut if I use multiple passes. So my start point to get, because I was going to use 2 passes, I wanted to divide in half. So I used on my 40-watt laser, I used a 50% power with a 30-second speed and 2 passes. And like I said, I was really, really happy with the way this cut out. Exciting. Borderless Patches. And of course, Cindy was, when she sent me a piece of the white. I have since ordered a yard of my own. But with that, she sent a couple of other colors. I think there was a purple and a gray and black. Um, I'm excited to put together patches, borderless patches. Where did I? Oh, that was right at the beginning. Hold on, Barb. I'll get you. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. It is S&M Crystals. Let me get you a close-up of the web address. Oops. Somehow I think oh, there it is. Can you see it? It's SM Crystal, CRISTALL.com. SMCRISTALL.com. Ooh, I'm glad I got it. Cindy said that she got an email from them. She orders from them regularly. She said there's going to be a price increase on June 1st for some items. So if you're interested in getting some of this felt, this might be the time to do it. Thank you, Cindy. Did you get that? Barb, did you get that? So, does anybody have any questions about borderless patches? Okay, doke, Barb. Okay, doke. Um, and it comes rolled. Remember, I said it was 60 inches wide, and it's really stiff, so it's not going to fold without creasing. Okay, so it comes rolled, um, which personally I kind of like that. I would rather not have any creases, um, but on the pieces that I got from Cindy, they were folded. But if you put them under the heat press for a little bit, not long, just enough to warm them up, they flatten out and they become very pliable. Once they cool, they become stiff again. But if you need to press them out, you can do that. Not a big deal. All right. Okay. Last thing, I'm not here next week. I'm going to Dax in Schaumburg. Got a couple of classes I'm taking. Um, it's just an overnight, but then I have family on Sunday, so I'm going to be out of the office on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I'll be back the week after. And if you guys have any thoughts, any ideas, if there's anything you want to see, just let me know. I'll work it up for you. Cindy says she always irons or heat presses. She has to use them flat on her chenille machine. Cindy has a chenille machine. Anybody out there needs chenille patches? Cindy's the one to work with. Yeah. So again, um, this is a 3-day weekend. Um, just gonna pop this up here. Of course. Um, Remember what the weekend is about. Yes, you're going to gather with family and friends, and you're going to have a 3-day weekend of barbecue and fun. But and remember the men and women of this country that gave their most precious gift to make it so that we could have this. All right, you guys. Have a great weekend. See you in a couple of weeks. If you're in Schaumburg, look for me. I'll be there. And bye now. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to